What's up, guys? Welcome back. Man, what a week it's been, huh? I know you guys have been there with me the whole time. I appreciate you watching, tuning in. I have had such a great week. Lots of friends, lots of family, so much junk food and fun. Boozing it up a little bit, maybe a little too much here or there. Certainly too much over the whole week. I haven't drank this much consistently in years, honestly, and I'm feeling it today. As a matter of fact, I really didn't do much today. That's why we're doing this instead of a full vlog. I just didn't do much today. I lazed around. I'm kind of dragging. I'm definitely feeling the build up from the whole week. But man, what a week it's been. I definitely enjoyed this Thanksgiving. And was reminded of everything that I'm thankful for in my life. Friends, family, all that stuff. I'm thankful for all of it. I hope you got to experience some of that. Friends, family, eating too much, and most of all, get to recognize some of the things you're thankful for. And, man, we just got to go forward with that attitude of gratitude. It's Christmas. It's the holiday seasons. I'm excited. But, again, today I've kind of crashed out from the week, so I did want to get in here and chat with you guys a little bit, keep this thing going, but I did watch Starrcade, so I thought I could get in here, talk about Starrcade, give my thoughts, my reviews real quick. This is your spoiler warning, so full spoilers. I'm going to talk about who won, what happened. If you haven't watched Starrcade yet, you can go watch it. It's only an hour. If that, it's short. It's a good watch. It's worth the watch. So if you want to see it, go watch it. Come back here and argue with me in the comments if you disagree with what I think. But here is what I think. So first of all, Starrcade. I didn't even know they were doing Starrcade until today. I got an email that was like, "Oh, Starrcade tonight." I was like, "Starrcade, really?" Because the last Starrcade was 20 years ago almost. Starrcade, for those of you who don't know, was the big event, one of the big events for NWA a long time ago during the Monday Night Wars for WCW. Arguably you could say Starrcade was like the WrestleMania for that southern region, WCW, NWA, though Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen, Harley Race, like that era, that group, that was their WrestleMania. So I have some kind of mixed feelings about what they did with it tonight, because it was basically just a glorified house show. And there's nothing wrong with a house show. House shows are a lot of fun, but to take something with the lineage of, Harley Race, like the first Starrcade was Harley Race versus Ric Flair. It was the dog collar match, the infamous dog collar match with Greg Valentine and Roddy Piper, and then on down through the years, Dusty Rhodes and Ric Flair, the Four Horsemen, Lex Luger, man, all those old NWA legends did their thing at Starrcade. So now, for it to just kind of be a glorified house show to kind of capitalize on the name, I don't know how I feel about that, because I don't want to see Starrcade just go away. I'm glad that they've done something with Starrcade, but I don't think they did it justice either. So it is what it is. I guess that's just one of those things that the 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, whatever. So Starrcade started off with Elias, and Elias brought out Ric Flair, and they were going to have a sing-along, and then they were interrupted by Nia Jax, Tamina, Alicia Fox, and Mickie James. Once the girls were out there, they kind of kissed Elias's butt for a little bit, told him how great they were and how they wanted to come out and do the sing-along with him and Ric Flair. Elias started the song, and then like halfway through the song, Nia Jax jumped in and just started kind of screeching and singing real bad. And Elias told her to shut her mouth, and then he said something about, well, why don't I bring out 4 of my friends to shut your mouth, since I can't, basically he implied that he can't hit him because they're women, so he's going to bring out his women. Elias brings out Sasha Banks, Bayley, Ember Moon, and Dana Brooke, and the girls have an 8-man tag. Really, it was fine. It was good. Nothing special happened here. Sasha would end up pinning Alicia Fox, and really there was just nothing special that happened here. Ric Flair, even in the segment before with Ric Flair and Elias, Ric Flair just kind of walked out there and just stood there. You know, he's become that guy that's just, they just want to show him. You know, and he's a little too old. He's not quite there to do the Ric Flair stuff anymore, which is understandable. I'm not faulting Ric Flair for any of this. I'm not faulting Ric Flair for getting old. I just don't know when it stops being beneficial to trot him out there and just have him stand there looking like an old man. I like seeing Ric Flair, but do we want to see a shadow of Ric Flair? I don't know if I want to see a shadow of Ric Flair. I want to remember the Nature Boy. I don't want to remember Old Man Rick coming out and standing there while Elias sings his song. That's just me personally. So after that, we had a promo from Samoa Joe. The main event for Starrcade is AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe in a steel cage. So we have a promo from Joe where he basically says that every time he's gotten in the ring with AJ, he's taken a little piece with him, and AJ is going to be lucky if he walks out of the cage tonight. Pretty standard stuff. However, the way Samoa Joe delivers his promos is head and shoulders above what most everybody else is doing. He doesn't sound gimmicky. He doesn't sound charactery. I believe what he says when he says it. Just the way he carries himself, the way he speaks, you know. And the content is great too. He's not rambling and all over the place trying to be funny or trying to make a reference. You know, he's got his point, and it's straight like an arrow right to his point. You can draw a line at the beginning of his promo straight through to the end. And I think there's a lot to that. I don't know. There's obviously something not quite translating. I don't know if it's just that the machine's not getting behind him or what. I feel like there's money being left on the table with Samoa Joe. That's it. Although I do have some thoughts. I'll get into that when we get to the match. Because before we get to the main event, we have Miz TV. So Miz TV comes out, and Miz is starting to get over. As a face, he's starting to look like a good guy. And I'm okay with that. He's a great performer, and he's been doing it long enough that it's hard not to respect what he does. And that's where he's at. And he's in the process of transitioning from a perennial heel to a guy that you can't help but respect and like. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. He brings out Rey Mysterio, Shinsuke Nakamura. They are set to be, they're set to wrestle for the United States title. I don't know why they keep putting Shinsuke in positions where he has to cut promos like this. He does not speak English well enough to cut these promos. He sounds bad. He sounds lost. He did a shtick with Miz where he couldn't say Starrcade, and it didn't sound disrespectful or heelish. It just sounded like he didn't really speak the language. And I'm a big Shinsuke fan. I love what he does in the ring. I'm sure he communicates well enough to get around, to get through life, to be on the road. But I think it makes him look bad when they put him in these promo situations where he has to talk and go back and forth with guys. It just doesn't sound right. So him and Miz end up blindsiding Rey Mysterio. They attack him. They start the match. The match goes real short. Rey Mysterio hits a dive onto the Miz, which causes the Miz to attack Rey Mysterio, and the match is a disqualification. Then Shinsuke and the Miz start putting a beat down on Rey Mysterio. This would bring out Rusev, who comes in to make the save, and then Lana gets on the microphone, challenges Miz and Shinsuke to a tag match with Rusev and Rey Mysterio. And let me just say, first of all, I liked Lana's mic work back when she was the Ravishing Russian and they were doing the super athlete thing. I know they still do that, but when they first came in and she was kind of actually working as his manager, and there was an actual stuff her mic skills are atrocious now. That's what I'm getting to. She cut this promo barely. She was in and out of her fake Russian accent. It was atrocious. But we get to the match. There's a tag match. The tag match is entirely forgettable. As good as all these guys are, there's just nothing in this tag match. Nothing memorable, nothing special, nothing out of the ordinary. And that's because it's a house show. They weren't necessarily trying to do that. I recognize that. They weren't trying to have a classic match. But it was just going through the motions, Like that's the thing. It was just going through the motions. They just had the match. They got to the finish. And then everybody called it a day and they went home. Finish was Rusev over on The Miz, which made no sense to me. I know Rusev is kind of over, and it seems like they want to do something with him, but they don't know what to do with him. I don't know what the deal is. The main event is AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe in a steel cage. This match, again, watching Samoa Joe walk to the ring, he just carries himself differently than everybody else, and he looks like a badass. Like, I believe Samoa Joe is a badass. There's not a lot of other guys that can say that, and other guys that they treat like badasses or that try to act like badasses, and it looks fake. Samoa Joe does not look fake to me. So this match is good. This match is a main event caliber. I would definitely say that. It was pretty standard fare as far as cage matches go. There wasn't anything too special or wild or exciting about it. But it was a good match. What I noticed about this match, there's two things I want to talk about this match. Number one is Samoa Joe. I think part of the reason why Samoa Joe is not quite connecting, not quite, injuries aside, I think there's something missing from his game. And what I think it is that the way he works, he always looks like he's going through the motions. Now, I think he's very methodical. I don't think anything looks light, fluffy, weak. Nothing like that. He's solid in the ring. He looks good. Everything he does looks good. But sort of the way he carries himself with like a confidence, it's not quite, I think he's carrying himself with like a confidence, a methodical precision to what he's doing, but it kind of takes away some of the urgency, and it takes away some of the it doesn't feel as organic when he's in there. And I think that's part of what's missing from his game, is that it almost makes it look like he is always going through the motions until he does something. Until he does something. He hits that guy in the corner, throws that kick. That's dynamic and that looks amazing. But then he goes back and he's moving very slow and very methodical. And I just think it loses something in the translation. And in direct opposition to that is AJ Styles, which is the second thing I want to talk about, because AJ Styles is one of those guys who always looks like he is doing more than the guy he's in the ring with. It is no wonder that AJ Styles is having the success he's having, is as over as he is. AJ Styles feels like something special because he never looks like he's going through the motions. His selling, his energy, his performance is always on point, whether he's in house show Starrcade or WrestleMania, a match for WrestleMania or Survivor Series or whatever. The go home I thought was a little wonky. AJ Styles, what they were doing, so they had set AJ Styles up in the corner by the door. Samoa Joe walked over. He was going to throw him out of the way. He grabbed him to throw him out of the way. AJ Styles rolled through, hooked his leg, turned him over in the calf crusher, locked it in. Joe fought it for a little bit, but ultimately had to tap out. So AJ Styles wins the cage match by tap out. It was a clever finish, but I didn't think it looked as cool as they thought it would. It sounds kind of cool when you're like, okay, well, what if I go to throw you out of the way and you grab my leg and roll me over and hook me in your finish? That sounds a lot cooler than it actually looks. And especially when you've got the cage and the camera, I don't think anybody it just kind of looked lackluster. It it didn't feel climactic. It was just kind of like, oh well, this cage match is over now. So I was a little underwhelmed by the finish, even though the match was very solid. Definitely makes it worth going to watch this show, this Starrcade, because AJ Styles and Samoa Joe always have great matches. So that's the show. Go check it out. I think you should. I thought it was a good show. Will you miss anything if you don't go see it? No, obviously not. There's really nothing super special about the show. So that's it. That's all I really got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Why don't you comment below? Let me know did you watch Starrcade? What did you think of Starrcade? What do you think of my take on Joe and Styles? Am I way off on this? I don't know. I think they're both great performers. I think one of them is connecting real strong. One of them's just missing something, and it's hard to put your finger on exactly what that something is or exactly how to fix that. And I wouldn't pretend to know or try to tell try to tell Joe how to do it. I'm gonna call it a day on that. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, don't forget, make a mess, keep your room clean, always tell the truth.